Factorio Space Age is finally here. If you're not aware, Factorio is a game about collecting resources, building a factory to process and combine those resources into advanced parts, and launching a rocket to space, all while fending off the angry alien locals. Over the past 5 years or so, I've become kind of obsessed with this game, so it's very exciting to have this huge new campaign with all sorts of new stuff to play with. We've created our world here with mostly default settings, including default biters, but with the one exception of double resource richness, because I've spent too long building new mining outposts when the old ones run out, and after a while it just stops being interesting. Once the game starts, we find ourselves crash-landed on the planet Novice, surrounded by lush greenery and abundant resources. Our first task is to build some basic infrastructure, so we start by using our one mining drill to collect some iron ore, which we then smelt in a stone furnace to give iron plates. We can use those iron plates to create more drills, to get more iron, and eventually this gives us a nice stockpile. Once we've produced enough iron plates, we automatically unlock our first technology, steam power. We'll need some more iron before we can do anything with it though. Along the way, we also set up some mining drills for stone, to build furnaces, and coal to fuel everything. There's this lovely pattern where the coal miners can feed into each other so they won't run out of fuel, and then we can just come over and collect it when we need to. And then we have copper ore up north, which is the same deal as iron. Mine the ore from the ground, smelt in furnaces, and we get copper plates. Enough of those unlocks electronics, giving us access to power poles, electronic circuits, and labs to research more tech. In order to use these labs, we'll need electricity to power them, and red science packs to pay for the research. This first tier of science pack is pretty straightforward, just iron gears and copper plates, so we craft some by hand. With all that done, we have enough resources to build some boilers and steam engines, which will turn coal and water into electric power. The coal comes over here to the water via a long conveyor belt, and then voila! We have electricity, and the lab is doing its work. Our first priority from here is automation, the whole point of the game. These assembling machines mean we don't have to handcraft everything anymore. Instead, we just set a recipe and use inserters to feed in the ingredients and take out the resulting products. I'm using them here to automate science pack crafting since they're pretty slow to craft by hand. I've also put aside this box to collect some gears as a little treat for myself. We researched some more technologies, getting us a better weapon, the pistol is absolutely useless in this game, and unlocking electric mining drills to replace our old burner ones. Now we can power our mining with electricity instead of having to feed them with coal constantly. I've also got some assemblers for belts and circuits here, since we'll need a lot of them to build the rest of the factory. Now that we've got some more powerful miners, we're going to need a lot more furnaces to smelt all that ore. So we put the iron ore and coal on a belt and send them into this stack of furnaces. By the way, if you're interested in playing Factorio yourself, I'd recommend going in without too many preconceived notions from YouTube videos like this one. It's way more fun to design your own layouts than just copying someone else's design. All of those miners are pushing our tiny coal power to its limits, so let's add some more. Any Factorio player worth their salt knows that one boiler makes enough steam for 2 steam engines. Keeping ratios like this in mind will let you get the most out of your factory's machines. Next to our iron smelting, we can also add some steel smelting. For steel, we just take the iron plates and smelt them again. I built this design to be very temporary and made the foolish decision to just hand feed coal into the furnaces that smelt the steel. Don't be like me, kids. We also built some copper smelting while we're at it. Now everything's nice and scaled up. As we make our way through the tech tree, some of the newer researches require the next level of science pack. Green science is a little bit more complicated, taking conveyor belts and inserters as ingredients, but these are things we'll want to automate anyway. For now, we can craft some by hand. Now it's time to use these nice belts full of metal. First up is automating circuits, which takes copper wire and iron plates. I'm a big fan of this design that crafts the copper wire from plates and directly inserts it into the circuit assemblers, since you need so much copper wire for these. With our handcrafted green science, we unlock some stronger gun ammo, which requires copper and steel to build. I've automated it over here on the left, since we'll want to share it with some surprise friends we'll make later. If you're curious about how I'm planning this base, the answer is I'm not, really. This is only our starter base, and we'll be rebuilding pretty much all of this with more powerful infrastructure later on. For now, the base kind of is sort of a main bus design on the macro level, but with a little bit more clutter and a little bit sloppier. I like to think of it as enlightened spaghetti. Now it's time to automate science at scale. With our wimpy little assembler ones, this will only give us 30 science per minute, but that's plenty for now. For green science, we'll feed it iron plates and green circuits. One belt assembler and one inserter assembler is enough for the amount of science we're going for. And we can also use the inserters we're making here to automate long inserters and fast inserters on the same line. Now, it might feel like I'm glossing over some of the details here, and that's because Factorio is a very, very long game, with one playthrough of Space Age estimated to take somewhere around 60 to 100 hours. Nobody wants to watch a YouTube series that long, so we're moving a little bit faster than real time, and we'll also speed up as we go. But for context, at this point, I've been playing for just about 2 hours. More science requires more labs to do all that good research, so we set up a little array here. One helpful tip is that labs can pass science packs between each other, so we don't need to insert the science directly into every single lab. Now we can research so fast, wow! All this green science also unlocks us some more goodies. We've got the aforementioned fast inserters, which are twice as fast as normal inserters, and red conveyor belts, which are 2 times as fast as yellow. We also get slightly faster assembling machine 2s, which are a 50% boost, and significantly faster steel furnaces, which work at double the speed. With our lovely factory chugging along, we're also releasing quite a bit of pollution. The trees nearby have been protecting us so far, but we might get some visitors soon, so some turrets with our new red ammo should help protect the most vital points. As they say, the best defense is a good offense, so after expanding our steam power a smidgen, it's time to go introduce ourselves. Meet the biters! They're very excited to see us. And after some pleasant conversation, the 2 nests on the edge of our pollution cloud are no more. That should keep us swarm-free a bit longer. Meanwhile, all our iron plate production is already not enough to sustain the factory, so we're going to need to boost it even more. Luckily, we can upgrade all these stone furnaces to steel ones to double their throughput, and upgrade the belt to red to support the increased speed. That is more like it. But even this much isn't enough. The factory must grow, after all. Doubling our iron smelting once more, and now we've got the infrastructure to support a full red belt of iron plates, 30 per second. We can do the same with our steel, although I'm still feeding it with coal by hand every now and then. The bad news is that we don't have enough ore, and we've about maxed out the ore that we can get from this particular patch of iron. The good news is that there's another larger patch of iron right over here. It's just a matter of setting up more drills and running another long belt to get it back to our smelting area. Okay, our iron supply should be good for a little bit. Next, let's use some more of that iron to make some new parts. Engine units, to be specific, made from iron and steel. And now it's time for... Hey, wait a second. Who let you rascals in here? Get out of here. You're not supposed to eat that. Let's fix that up. We should probably go deal with whoever sent that little squadron to us. Oh, look, new neighbors. Hey, guys. Oh, there's a lot of guys. Maybe I should have prepared better for this. No. Okay. Perhaps it was a mistake to go in naked. Armor usually helps in this kind of situation. Well, anyway, let's go get our stuff. One of the charming features of biters in this game is that they can create new bases inside your pollution cloud unbeknownst to your map, because they just want to be near you. While I'm on a murderous rampage, we might as well clear out the other nests around here. Here, for the first time, we encounter worms. These guys can't move, but they will spit acid at you from a distance. They're pretty good at aiming, and they know how to lead their shots to hit you, even if you're moving. Okay, fine, I'll craft some heavy armor. One nice benefit of our new engine units is being able to keep a car in my pocket to drive around in when we need to traverse long distances. And the new map gen in version 2.0 gives us some lovely forested corridors to drive through. There's another benefit that engine units give us though: trains. These bad boys will give us a huge jump in logistical power. There's a lot of delicious ores out there, and I don't plan on running enormous belts to get it all over here. Train tracks are much cheaper and allow for multiple trains to share the same infrastructure. Train spaghetti is great, but I usually like to design my train networks with blueprints that can fit together like individual pieces on a larger grid, like this three-way intersection, or this straight line. The new rail shapes in 2.0 make the curves a little bit different and make it a little easier to fit rail signals inside the intersection. Unfortunately, we still need to build them ourselves piece by piece. We're using a two-lane system where trains drive on the right, just like cars. Well, cars in my blessed homeland of America. Speaking of the US, our goal at the moment is the next raw resource we recently unlocked, the crude oil fields to the northwest. We set up some pump jacks and pipes to extract the oil from the ground, and then build a pickup stop where the oil can be loaded onto trains. We're going to process that oil over here near the water on the east side of our base, and we set up the train infrastructure while our base continues to science its way through the green science tech portion of the tech tree. I also take some time to play with 2.0's new parametrized blueprints feature to use for setting up train stations. I'll explain those in more detail another time. We'll also make a station where trains can refuel. Cole makes great train food, they think it's delicious. Trains are also very, very smart now. A fancy feature called Train Schedule Interrupts lets us make it so that the trains will go to this station whenever they get low on fuel. Convenient and efficient. The train itself will pick up crude oil, drop it off at home, stop to refuel, and then head back out to the oil fields. Now that we've got this oil, we can pop it into some oil refineries to produce petroleum. I'm setting up these other pipes too for secret reasons. We are going to need some more coal as well, and our starter patch up top is getting pretty crowded, so here's a brand new coal outpost down south. It's close enough to the base that we can just route it up via belt. Mixing that coal with petroleum in these chemical plants gives us plastic, which will route back up to create some red circuits. I like this fun little design where the plastic and green circuits go in on the sides and the copper plates flow through the center to make into copper wire. Now we just copy paste this 4 times, and that should be enough for now. Red circuits. These little guys give us access to lots of new tech, including modular armor, which lets us upgrade our engineer here with some new gadgets. For now, we make ourselves some night vision with portable solar panels to power it. Our next goal is blue science, a big step up from red and green before it. We already have the necessary red circuits and engine units, so the only thing we still need is sulfur. Sulfur is just petroleum and water smushed together in a chemical plant. And with that, we've reached the next science tier. But before we can get to that, I'm going to set up some module production over by the red circuits. These guys can augment machines to improve their speed, power usage, output, or new in 1.0, item quality. These tier 1 modules aren't very good, but I'll be using these boys a lot more later. We also set up some sulfuric acid, which is made with sulfur, water, and iron, and add space for a new train stop to pick it up. We'll need that for later too. Anyway, the very first thing we research with Blue Science is advanced oil processing with jeez. Looks like our neighbors are unhappy with our new coal mine. They managed to chew through quite a bit of it. Let's set up some defenses here so that this won't happen again. While we're here, let's also pop some efficiency modules in these mining drills. This'll make them produce less pollution, meaning fewer attacks. Meanwhile, the biters have set up camp right next to the mine, and just look at how they've grown! We've got medium biters now, which are a lot tougher to kill. We'll need to resort to special tactics. Car, activate! The car has a built-in machine gun that oh. Okay, no more car. We can finish these guys off the old-fashioned way. Let's make a new car and do things right this time. Turns out I'm really good at driving directly into rocks. Okay, where were we? Right, advanced oil processing. It takes in oil and water and turns it into 3 different products: petroleum, light oil, and heavy oil. If any of those products fill up, the whole system will back up and stop working. Luckily, we also get these neat cracking recipes to turn heavy into light and light into petroleum. Here, I use a neat trick where this pump only activates once there's enough liquid in the tank, making it a kind of overflow valve. This will let us crack the heavy and light oil when we need to, while ensuring that we always have enough to use. Petroleum shouldn't back things up either, since we'll be using plenty of it for sulfur and plastic. Hey, buddy! Let's go see where he came from. Now let's turn some heavy oil into lubricant, which we can then use for electronic engine units. They're like regular engine units, but harder to make. We'll be able to use them for robot frames, but for that we'll need batteries too, which use iron and copper plates with sulfuric acid. Once those are up and running, we have our robot frames, and hence, robots! Construction bots will help us build things automatically, notably giving us the ability to copy and paste. Logistics bots can bring items into our inventory from the factory, meaning I don't have to constantly take a lap to pick up supplies. Both of these are massive benefits and will totally change how the game feels. This is a big milestone, which makes this a good stopping point for now. So far, this is mostly pretty standard vanilla Factorio, but next episode we'll start to diverge into content newly added in Space Age. Thanks for watching!